Hey Sen City, it's me, Shroud, the new head coach of Sentinels Valorant. Now, going into week 8, we'll be looking to make some changes to our roster considering we just got 2-0 and embarrassed by Crew last week. Now, moving forward, on the main duelist role, we're going to be putting Tarek in there playing mostly the Jet. Now, while some of you might be saying, but Tarek isn't good enough for Pro and he can't even play Raze, honestly, we can say the same two things about Tenz. So, going forward, Tarek is our new main duelist. Now, when it comes to the Initiator role, some people thought we wouldn't swap out Saucy, but considering he has a history of toxicity, we actually wanted to bring in an Initiator player who would bring up team morale and has no history of toxicity. Now, some people may think that we don't listen to community feedback, but we're always looking at what our fans are saying. And that's why I'm glad to announce we're bringing Sinatra back into the Sentinels main Valorant roster. Now, also, we have Pancada and Marv on this team. Essentially, the two best smokes players of 2022 are both on our team. So what are we going to do with them? We're benching both of them and we're bringing back Zoms to play smokes for the team full time. With the addition of Tarek, Sinatra, and Zoms, I think this team is unstoppable and we're ready to go. We're still going to be putting in a lot of work. There's still so much work to do before we can make it to Tokyo. If we even make it to Tokyo. But we'll make it to Tokyo, trust me. And yeah, let's do it. Kaplan out. I mean Shroud out. Hey, what is going on, guys? It's 9 back again to talk about some Pro Valorant. And oh my goodness, man, I cannot catch a break with Sentinels. Just when I think they might start to have things figured out, they get 2-0'd by EG. Oh my goodness, being a fan of this team, man, it's tough. It's tough. It comes with its own trials and tribulations. And this is my third Sentinels video in 3 weeks, so just bear with me, guys. But if you guys know, today, Sentinels have announced that Tenz is back on the main lineup going forward in VCT. And while they didn't announce it on the main Sen channels yet, as reported by George Geddes, Def will be the one stepping down off the roster while Tenz takes his spot. So, oh my gosh, there's so much to cover here. Okay, first of all, what are Sentinels doing, man? We're making another change to the roster this late in the split when we only have 2 matches left? Dude, I don't understand how Sentinels are expecting the team to have results when we're just swapping out players every single week and changing roles. There's just never gonna be consistency to this team if we keep making changes, keep swapping out roles. Now we're gonna have to change our IGL? Come on, man. So if Def is really the one sitting out, then this team has no IGL. How are they supposed to play the games? I mean, I guess now people are saying that Saucy is gonna take up the IGL role with some help from Marv. But like I said in my video previously before, Saucy has an IGL at like tier 1 before. As far as I know, he was always under Sadhak, and of course the same was with Marv because he was always under FNS when he was playing for Optic. So now that they're gonna have to pick up that weight of IGLing, I have no idea how this team is gonna look without Def on the roster. And the thing is, man, I should have known. I'm disappointed that I didn't know this was gonna happen, because before Tenz was taken out of the roster, I predicted that Zekin would be playing main duelist for the team again, because I like to watch Zekin stream and I saw that he was playing a ton of Jet on stream. So I predicted that that would happen, and what do you know, it happened. And then the other day, I'm seeing Zekin on stream play a bunch of Sky. When they got Pearl, he was playing Harbor, and I'm like, no way, no way. And now we see that Def is stepping off the roster. It looks like Zekin will be taking his role in game as essentially that flex player, playing the Sky on a lot of maps, playing the Harbor on a couple, probably gonna be playing that KO on Ascent, you know. So he's gonna be taking that, and then of course Tenz will be back in the primary duelist role, playing mostly Jet. I have no idea if he's gonna play Raze on Bind, because we haven't seen Sentinels Bind yet, and Bind is a very, very strong Raze map, and we have a great Raze player on the team. We have Zekin, but if he has to play that Sky and Tenz has to play the main duelist, they're probably gonna have Tenz play Raze, but they also might just go loud style and just put him on Jet on every map. At this point in the game, honestly, that just might be the best option. If you just want to give yourself the best chances of winning, let's just put Tenz on whatever he feels most comfortable on and pray that he drops 30 kills. Now, of course, changing IGLs so late into the season is going to be a really bad idea because they don't have much time at all to practice with a new IGL, essentially. And while it will be a player that they're already played with, you know, if it's really being picked up by Saucy, then they've obviously worked with Saucy for quite some time now. But the thing is, every IGL essentially brings their own style to the game and the way they want to be calling strats and such. So even though they have worked with Saucy, they don't necessarily know how he likes to call as an IGL, and the things that they're used to doing under Def, he might be expecting them to do different things or do it in a different way, and that kind of stuff takes time to iron out. If he's going to be your main IGL moving forward, this takes time. But if they're looking to try and save their season and somehow make it into playoffs, then I think this is a horrible decision because they don't have time for any of this. I mean, after that EG loss, there are 2 games left in the season for Sentinels. Like, can we just mentally accept that we're not making playoffs? Like, I don't think Rob Moore has mentally accepted that this team is not making playoffs, let alone going to Tokyo. Even if they pull off a miracle and win the next 2 games 2-0 and get some better map differentials, and then 2 other teams like dramatically mess up and somehow Sentinels manage to sneak their way into playoffs in that 6th spot, they are for sure not gonna finish top 3 and they're not going to Tokyo. So in my opinion, what Sentinels need to do is realize, yo, we're not making playoffs or Tokyo. We got 2 matches left. Let's just try to play our best in these 2 matches, and then after the split, we can, you know, reconvene and see what changes we want to make with the team moving forward. This is not the time to be making changes, man. Just do them after the split going forward. Or what it can also be is the opposite, which I think would be worse, where Rob Moore has accepted that they're not going to make playoffs or Tokyo, so they just want to put Tenz back in to inject some hype for the last couple of games because he knows we're probably going to lose anyway. Let's at least get some high viewership on the Tenz games. That would be insane if that's the reasoning. And honestly, we've kind of seen this before last year. Remember when Sentinels were trying to make their LCQ run to champions last year when they needed a smokes player because they benched Zoms? And so who did they pick up? Did they pick up some amazing up-and-coming tier 2 smokes player that's been on the grind looking to grow and prove himself? No, they picked up Shroud, and we all saw what ended up happening. No hate to Shroud, he tried the best he can, but come on, Shroud was obviously not the best player they could have picked up to play smokes for this team at the time. And in my opinion, the fact that they got Shroud showed that they really, management at least, really didn't care about winning LCQ. And the drama with Shazam that happened a couple months ago, with Shazam revealing that Rob Moore told him, hey, we don't care if you win, just play with Shroud, make it hype, and I'll guarantee you a spot in franchising. That whole fiasco, it's like, yeah, Rob Moore literally forced these guys to play with Shroud just for the hype, even though it seems like players on the team were hesitant to put Shroud there, which I would as well, because we're trying to qualify for champions. We want the best player we can get, and Shroud is not the best player we can get. And dude, just look at Kaplan's face every video. The guy is just going through the 5 stages of grief as a coach every single time he has to announce a change for this roster. And I don't blame him, man. I would hate to be in the spot the coaches are in for Sentinels, because it really feels like they're not running the team how they want. It really feels like Rob Moore is sticking his fingers into every situation, and he thinks he knows Valorant better than the coaches. Like, come on, man. As a CEO, you gotta just give the reins over to the people who actually know what they're doing and trust that they will make the best decisions for the team moving forward. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And now Sentinels, Tenz is in, Def is out. They play Crew this weekend. The most funny thing possible would be for them to lose to Crew once again, because historically they don't have a great win rate against Crew, and Crew are winless this season. They are 0-8 or something. If they beat Sentinels, that will be the most funny thing ever, and people in the community will never let them forget about it. So will Tenz be good enough to carry this Sentinels team into the playoffs? Personally, I don't think so. But another duelist player who has been popping off every single week and might be the best player in the game right now is Aspas from Loud. And I honestly think he might be the best player we've ever seen when you compare him to a Prime Tenz, Ye, or even Nats. And I made a whole video discussing this, linked in the top left corner of your screen. Be sure to check it out.